smile, mind's rhythm starts. Exhale slow. Let your spirit glow. Feel the peace. Breathe in, release. Find your inner ease. S.A.Y. Show about yoga. Breathe in and stay. Exhale slow. Let your spirit glow. Silent heart. Inhale deep and smart. Mind's rhythm starts. Exhale slow. Let your spirit glow. Feel the peace. Breathe in, release. Find your inner ease. S.A.Y. Show about yoga. Breathe in and stay.
Welcome back to S.A.Y. Show About Yoga. This is episode 3, and as we all know, 3 is the magic number. What does it all mean? And also, Judy was just telling me that it's the number of creativity. What else?
I think it's usually associated with creativity and joy, isn't it?
There we go. And so totally convenient because you're creative and very joyous.
Yeah. I was going to say that could be a complete lie. Numerologists will be like, this person's lying on camera. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's associated with creativity.
Let's just take it as a solid fact.
Yeah.
Okay?
And we're just going to add joy in there because
Yeah, because you're joyous.
you're joyous.
Yeah.
Creating.
And this person, this beautiful person, is Judy, aka Valli Maine, who is this amazing theta healer and sound healer. And I'm so super excited that we've got this opportunity to speak to you, Judy. So you can explain exactly what it is that you do. But before we dive into that, I believe your location today is Elfland. Your Temu backdrop today is brought to you by, what did you say, Lord of the Rings?
Well, and I don't know if Arendale's the correct word. I just said Elfland and then how I've watched it too many times to not be remembering the technical name for it. But
Arendale?
from here, that's what it looks like.
I feel like it is. Even the hue is very, and you can see them, and it's sort of like, a little bit misty and dreamy.
Immortality is definitely involved, like you would assume when you're here that you don't age.
No.
Things stay great.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. A little bit pink. And and I am in, I think, Willy Wonka's shop front.
Mm-hmm.
In on what was it? Technicolor. Back in the day, they used to have Technicolor.
If they AI'd Willy Wonka's
drawing,
described the drawing.
Yeah. And then Willy Wonka would come out and he'd have like 3 arms. One coming out of his head, and all I was trying to say was that he was really handy. So let's dive straight into it. What does yoga mean to you? If you were just going to just explain what yoga means to Judy.
A practice of coming home to myself. Or reconnecting with yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What I'd really love to ask, well, I keep asking the questions that I'd love to ask, so I don't know why I have to keep announcing that I'd love to ask it, because I actually do ask it, is But how would you explain what theta healing is, sort of what it sounds like or how you do it?
So it's a talking therapy, but you go into a theta brainwave, which is the brainwave just before being asleep. It's also used in hypnosis, and it's the brainwave that we're in from 1 until 8 years old. And it's the brainwave that the majority of our subconscious beliefs are formed in. And so that's the brainwave that you go into to reprogram the subconscious mind. But typically in a session, like if it's an in-person session, you'll be in front of me and we would be holding hands. And so there's that cellular communication. So I would go into a theta brainwave, and then through cellular communication, you would automatically go into into the theta brainwave. And then I would start asking questions, and that process is called digging. So we'll start off with whatever it is that you're wanting to work on. Mm-hmm. And I'll start asking you questions, and then there's just that process of getting to what the subconscious mind believes and finding those bottom beliefs, and then you reprogram the subconscious mind on the spot. So you know how like a lot of people talk about like repetition and how it can take like 6 months or 3 months, however long it is, of repeating something for your brain to start believing it. But then with theta healing, you're able to do that on the spot. So you come in and then leave feeling completely different. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so it's like it just makes that whole process a lot easier. And then oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Oh, yeah. That's because I didn't even think it was that.
Yeah. I think people think because of the sound healing, because I do sound healing, and then they think that it's something to do with music. And it's
I totally did. So when I'm asking you the question before, and I was thinking, okay, yeah, in my head, yes, and there's some bowls and then you're like, it's talking. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, light bulb, bing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, keep going.
Where was I?
So, what if the person isn't like right next to you? How do you get that cellular connection?
So I have clients over the world, and you can either like bilocate your energy field. That sounds a little bit strange, but then projecting my energy field outwards so that I'm half there, like in the room, or I can guide you like through a meditative state. In like everyone's able to go into a theta brainwave, and so you can just do a guided meditation to get you into that space. They're both amazing. Like in person and over the phone is completely fine. Like I have sessions with my teacher over the phone, and yeah, it's easy. Like sometimes it sounds intimidating, but it's not. It's everyone's able to do it.
And I guess if you've had a few sessions, then can you sort of fall into it? Like, is there like a theta memory or mind? Like, is it easier to go into it if you've done it before? Or
yeah, it does. Like it does just become an automatic thing. Like at first, like during the training, you spend a lot of time like doing the meditation, like to get into or like following the pathway of getting into the theta brainwave. But then it does just become second nature, and so you can just go straight into it. Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like that happens with meditation as well. The more you meditate, it's like you're working a muscle really, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely.
The easier it is to sort of go into it. Yeah. So then sound healing, I can't believe this whole time. I thought they were sort of similar.
No, they're completely different. Yeah, one's like a talking therapy and the other one's singing. Yeah.
So the way I met you was through sound healing. Yeah. It was at Ryan Mannix, and I can't remember who else he did it with.
Willix.
Oh, yeah.
Will.
Yeah, Will. You know because you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people.
At peace.
At peace. That was amazing, that meditation sort of thing that he did with you. Yeah. At Abbotsford Convent. Yeah. And that's when I first met you.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting. We were just like sort of drawn to each other, and we were like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then you came and did some sound healing for us at the Blue Mind sound healing at the Yacht Club Yoga. So can you explain sound healing explain sound healing and what it does and how you do it, maybe?
Yeah. So I think of sound healing as like a retuning of the body, like how you tune an instrument, the songs and the vibrations going in, and then because sound has no barrier. It goes into the body and then just retunes things. That's what I see it as. I think the style that I do is a little bit different in the way, like I use, as you know, the crystal bowls, but they were something that I just started using in the last few years as an accompaniment to the songs, because I used to just do the one-on-one sessions, and so just throughout songs would come through, but then that's something that's just always come through me, but I only started doing it for like working with people in the last 9 years, but it's just a singing that comes through on the spot. And I feel like I could explain that, but then also too, like I know that there's much more going on than what meets the surface, and then I feel like explaining it takes away from what it is.
It takes
or like our, like mentally our brains want to be like, yeah, but what's happening? Or like people would be like, oh, what did you see like releasing in the session, or what, like wanting answers for things.
Oh, look, it's the yoga dog. Come on, Len. He wants to sit with you this time. Usually he sits with me. Come on, up you get. Sorry. Yeah, because that was literally going to be my next question. What are some of the things that happen? But it is hard to explain. But what I'll do
I feel like I'm not explaining it properly.
No, you're explaining it amazingly.
Lenny.
That one of the last sound healings that you did there he is. He's chosen you now. You're the
Oh my God.
You're the chosen one.
Thanks, Lenny.
I know you are. You're the chosen one.
Oh, you farted.
Now he's going to snore on you.
Don't even mind.
Well, perhaps maybe have you heard of things like people seeing colours and stuff with sound healing? And do you know anything about why they would see colours and stuff?
I have theories. It is really common for people to see colours, but then also too, like colour healing is a thing. So maybe it's just like those colours are like what's energetically happening with the music. I'm not sure, but it's different for I guess it's different for everyone. But colours are a thing often, or like people receive messages. Sometimes people feel just blissful the entire time. Transcendental is a word that people use, or transportive, where they're like you started singing and then like left the room. There was this beautiful, she was 80 something I think, in one of the sessions in Torquay a little while ago, and it was her first sound healing session, which I think is so cool to be in your 80s and then trying that for the first time. But she was saying that she was like, I was in the room with everyone, and then she started singing, and then I was just hovering. She was like, I was alone hovering, and she just left. So that's a common feeling. And then other times people just hate it and feel really uncomfortable because it does go into the body and then start shifting things or shaking things up, and it's not necessarily that they hate the music. They can, like, it's just going in and shifting things, and then that can feel quite uncomfortable.
And maybe they weren't ready for that, or they weren't expecting it, or whatever.
Yeah, and another like thing that happens quite frequently too is people having like loved ones coming in and talking to them during the session, which I don't know if it's because the vibration, like if it just puts people in a certain state of mind, but it seems to thin the veil.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know the last time that you were performing at the event that we did, I was standing in front of you, and then all of a sudden, like all throughout the session, I was getting all these moments of, oh, yeah. I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit creepy. And then at one point I felt, I was on the ground actually. I felt really heavy, like I was sort of pinned down, but still I felt quite light, but this huge sense of joy. Yeah. It was just like that. It was amazing. It was so amazing. So that was my personal experience. You know what I've noticed, and maybe this is why some of the feelings can be quite intense even for people who've never experienced sound healing. And I feel like sound healing's another one of those things where the more you do it, the more perhaps you might get from it or slide into it quite a lot easier. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on person to person. Like I have plenty of people who repeatedly come back to sessions, and then every experience is different. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, that was amazing!" Like I sank into it really easy, and then there'll be days where their mind just doesn't shut off. But I think
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
I think that's normal too, because. Well, I don't know. I just think like if it's like shifting things or moving things out, if your mind becomes really busy all of a sudden, that's probably just those thoughts leaving. Like people often have like memories come up or conversations or things that they hadn't thought about for decades, and then it'll come back to them in the session. I just think of that as part of the healing process. But then that's why it's so good to like how we'll do the yoga before sessions, because like people will just come to the straight sound healing sessions, but then I've noticed how good it is when you can do the yoga or some kind of movement beforehand too, because you just shift out a lot of that energy first, and then you feel ready to lay still.
Yeah,
I think
you're absolutely right.
For it.
Yeah, I think it works out really well.
Yeah,
and we've done excuse me, like a flow and the sound, and we've done yin and the sound. Last time we did the yin and the sound. I reckon next time we do a bit of flow, yin and sound.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah,
too.
I reckon that.
Yeah.
You know, another thing, I don't know if there's a point or a question to this, but I'm just going to say it, is I've seen water in a sound bowl, and you see how much it moves and vibrates, and then you think, oh my gosh, all of that fluid is in my body. So, yeah, that must be another sensation effect or something like that.
Yeah, it's such a good physical representation of being able to see sound. Like when people do it with the water, or have you ever seen like with the tables and they have the sound set up underneath and then sand will form?
No.
Oh, it's so cool. You should Google it. You will find it. But so there'll be like a tray and then sand on top, and they'll be playing music or tones, and then the sand will form all these different geometric patterns and different shapes, and they'll change the sand and it'll start to restructure and form a different thing. So it's cool getting to see what sound looks like, and then that correlating in the body. So it's not just like a airy fairy, oh, we're just making sound, we're calling that healing. Like it's a genuine thing. And I think it's really good to I remember when we did the water thing, I think I was on a retreat or something, and then people who thought it was like, oh yeah, airy fairy, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, energy. Like, you know? And then they saw it was water, like, whoa, that's right. But and the fact that our bodies are so like water and receptive too, and like bones, or you think of like your bones being receptors, and even just having like copper in our body, like different things that are receptive. But Masaru Emoto, do you know him? The scientist who he spent all of those years photographing water. So putting certain intentions into water, and then figured out how to photograph the cellular structure of the water. And so you should Google that as well. Totally. It's really cool seeing. I
feel like I have to write it down now, but I realise after this podcast I can actually ask you again and run it. I feel like you've committed it to memory. So, but who is it again?
Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Okay, everyone out there, Google that.
And so he would talk to water, or like put water, like words on water, so like joy, love, peace, hate, shame, guilt, and then photograph what the water cells looked like, and then seeing the change in the crystal formations from the water. And it just is such an amazing visual representation of what's happening in the body, or like when we're talking, because the water in our body responds. And so that was his life. Work.
Wow.
I could explain that better, but does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Is it okay to tell a story about?
Yes, I love stories. Go.
So going to Wild Horses Festival, it's a bush stuff, and this guy was performing. So sometimes like my body like will feel quite like uncomfortable or disheveled when certain music is playing, and then this guy started playing. He's a friend now, Rav. He goes by the name Organic Vibrations, but I didn't know him beforehand, and he was my favorite DJ for the entire few days. But as soon as he started playing, my body, I was like, oh, I bet you he uses like the Hertz frequencies or solfeggio. I'm like, there's something that he's doing, because my cells were so happy, and his entire set, I felt so calm, could not stop smiling. Like even though he's playing psytrance and it's like very upbeat music, it made my entire body feel joy and peace. And then I ended up going to a different that he was playing at, and I was telling his partner, I was like, oh, do you know if he uses like these frequencies, blah, blah? And she was like, I don't know, I'll ask him. And he finished his set and then came up to me and he was like, you were the first person that's ever brought that up. And yes, I do. And he specifically tunes things on purpose because he's like, I know it's an overstimulating environment, and he wants to know that in that hour or so that he's playing, that he's helping to like positively affect people's state of mind.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's a genuine thing. Like I think
So explain what it is. What did you say? The what hertz?
can't remember if it was like the different like hertz frequencies. You know how there's like the one like 432 or whatever it is, like the like tuned to the heart. Like there's for different things.
Yes.
And
Well, I don't really. I sort of do, yeah.
Frequencies, but then he tunes he's like went one step further, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's very specific about the tones that he uses.
So the tones that he was playing in his psych trance set were only the tones of that particular frequency.
I'm not sure, like he had,
or maybe it was heavy on those tones or something.
He had it incorporated in there, and then he was saying that he tunes everything to something in particular, or like, yeah, I'd have to ask him again to get him to explain it, but you can feel the effects of it. He's, my favourite DJ.
Oh, wow. Who would have thought that you can actually do that to make people feel happier?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. And
another light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or mind-blowing moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think, it was fun getting to talk to him about it and for him to be like, oh, I'm so glad someone notices that I do that. But I think because I'd always felt like would get affected so easily from music that it was like, oh, cool. You can see the contrast.
And that someone has actually put the thought in and wants to do that as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. Like I think a lot of musicians do that these days, or focus on that. And I think that's really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally special to think that it's evolved that much. Like, because, I'm from the house music all night long days. Yeah. And we believe that ours was the only music and that it hasn't evolved at all. Yeah. And now, what do you know?
Yeah.
It has.
But you can like incorporate it in there, so you can't like physically heal it. Like you can just have it as like a track underneath, so that you could have your music and it's playing and like you wouldn't even know about it. Like so you can just sneakily slip in some healing music.
I love that. Sneaky healing music.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Another question I would like to ask you is, if someone was to start yoga, or they were thinking about doing some yoga, what would you recommend, or what would you say as an experience, or maybe just a little helpful tip? Anything really?
I think for myself over time was just learning to listen to my body, because in classes, or even if I was just watching something on YouTube, I'd always feel like I needed to follow along to what the person was doing, and then I would do moves that didn't feel good in my body, and then I'd end up like hurt afterwards, or I could tell that my body wasn't happy. And then just going like, just learning to trust myself and going, oh, we don't actually have to do it like that. Like I can do a different pose while everyone's doing that, or I don't need to push myself to that level. You can just tailor it to you, and then it just becomes such, I don't know, so much more loving of a practice, I think, when you're also listening to your body at the same time. And I think that's part of where at the start, how I was saying that practice of coming home to myself, because it did teach me that in a lot of ways, to trust myself, to trust my intuition, and then doing what feels right for me, regardless, like not needing to follow on, just going, oh yeah, that's what I feel like doing today. Or like some days wanting to push myself further, and then other times just wanting to be gentle. Like I would happily just go into a yoga class now and stay in child's pose and do pigeon. Like there's probably no point of going if I'm going to sit there and do that. But
it's nice
if
to be amongst
like it, I would.
Yeah, because it's nice to be amongst all the people.
Yeah.
And just sort of chilling out and hearing the words or the music, or just being amongst the vibe.
Yeah.
I think that's the best advice ever.
Oh, thanks.
5 gold stars. Okay.
Thank you.
And 3 testimonials.
And a free pass into Willy Wonka.
And a free pass, yeah. You actually get the golden ticket.
The ticket, that's the word.
That's the
I'm
one.
like, the free pass.
The free pass, a.k.a. golden ticket.
I've made it into immortality land.
You already have. I actually feel like I want
Getting
that more
on the
than this.
boat, we're crossing. It's
I can see the lake there, or the little river thing. The other thing I was going to... Oh, yeah. So what have you got coming up that's super fun that I know I'd really love to go to that you'd like to share with everyone?
Yeah. So I'm still waiting to confirm some dates. So I'll be doing like my regular 1.5 hour sound healing sessions that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've just booked in with you and Cal for the
Yeah.
17th of March.
Yes, super excited. Little plug there. It's a sunset yoga and sound healing, and it's amazing. And it's at the Port Melbourne Yhactclub, and it's over the bay, and it's this golden light. And when you do, sorry, no pointing. When Judy does sound healing near water, it's magic. It totally is.
I do love getting to do it with water.
Yeah. And so you're doing other stuff near water. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I've got lots of cool things coming up. I'm just waiting to confirm dates for some of my solo things. Some of them, yeah, I feel like I could specifically go through things, but
Can you tell us about the Torquay thing? I love that.
Yeah,
Torquay with Ryan.
With Ryan, yeah. So that's like a summer series over the holidays every Sunday morning, 8 until 9:15 a.m. in the Bowls Club. So across the road from, like, you're overlooking the ocean, and that's just yoga and sound healing at the end. And then my friend Trudy, so we're Judy and Trudy.
I love that.
And
Jude and Trude.
yeah, we call ourselves the cosmic comedic duo because we both spent our whole lives being like, why would our parents call people born in the 80s Judy and Trudy? Like, this is just, these are not names that. And then, yeah, once I met Trudy, I was like, well, if we're going to be Judy and Trudy, I think I'm fine with being called Judy now.
Yeah.
But so Trudy is a yin instructor, and she's just beautiful. So we do, she's called Loving Rituals, and then we do the yin, so like 45 of yin and then 45 minutes of sound. And then in March there's a couple of events coming up with Max Rook. That's going to be, I think he's doing like a whole day, but there'll be like breath work and the sound healing. And then my friend Bryce Mayer, we're going to be doing the breath work and sound healing. Yeah, so many different things. But if people just wanted to, on my website, vallimaine.com, on the events page, there's always like I put, sorry, I just slapped my leg. Everything's usually on there, but there's only 3 things on there at the minute. I'm going to Queensland in February.
Oh, cool. What are you doing up there?
The sound healing, in Nambour. But everything will be on the website.
Oh, and then you're doing Bali?
Yes, that's in July. There's last time I checked, there was 4 spaces left. I'm not sure if there's anything left, but that's a retreat with my friend Nikki Valentini, and she does lots of different things, like nutritionist, but a naturopath, I think. But she's also like specializes in mineral balancing. So it's like a detox retreat, but then people have to get their blood work done beforehand, and then she specifically works with them and creates a program for them. And I'm doing sound healing for that retreat, and then theta healing too, if people want to.
You've got theta. So what we'll do is in the little notes underneath, wherever you're listening to this or watching in the internet, there'll be information about your website and Instagram and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, you can find all of that stuff. But it's vallimaine.com. If you can't find any of that, it'll be there. And lots of other exciting things coming up.
Yeah,
this year
there's
too,
lots
I reckon.
of really
like maybe
lots of things happening.
A thing in the park.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit creepy now, but yeah, we're pretty excited. We walked through the park this morning. Okay, well, you are amazing, Judy. And I so love spending time with you. And thank you so much for explaining theta healing. I didn't even know. I had a totally different idea about what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are a very unique and amazing talent. When I explain you to people when, you know, they're interested in coming to the events. I'm like, Judy is like an angel. Sometimes you feel like when Judy looks at you like, oh no, she can see that I'm not great or something, because you are so amazing.
I don't know.
But anyway.
You have such a beautiful perception of me, and I don't know, like sometimes people are like, oh, you're like so calm and peaceful, but then I think of myself as like this anxious bogan. So then I don't know, like just like this multifaceted, like there's I think I was saying it to you another time, how like people will be like, oh, so you must just only listen to like relaxation music. But I'll do like a sound healing session and then listen to Rage Against the Machine on the way home, or Wu-Tang Clan. Like I just love all kinds of music. Like I just love music, and I love so many different things in life. And so I don't feel like I fit into any categories that people like, or you know, it's like when people meet you and then they like assume you're a certain way, but I feel like I don't necessarily fit anywhere, and I love lots of things.
And I love that.
Yeah, but I love thank you for seeing me that way. Like it's
It's my pleasure. So thank you again.
Oh, thanks for having me,
Judy. And if you're looking for more information, check out the deets in the bits, and stay tuned for more S.A.Ys. Namaste.